To fix my supposed possessiveness, my wife would toss a signed divorce agreement at me every damn time she spent the night with her first love instead of coming home. In just 6 months, I had stacked 99 of them in my drawer. When the 100th landed, I overheard him ask her, eyes red with emotion, "I'm divorced now. Will you still marry me?" After a beat, she said with total conviction, "I will." Right then, I knew. It was time to give back the title of husband. The next day, I grabbed a cab and headed to the old Thompson family estate. The 6-year agreement was over. My debt was paid. Time to bounce. My voice was quiet but firm. Seeing my mind made up, Mr. Thompson could only sigh. "It's been rough on you all these years. Before you go, you can ask me for anything." I stayed quiet a long time, then said, "I want your blessing for Chloe and Julian to be together. You sent me to help her get over Julian, but 6 years later, maybe true love can't be broken apart." Mr. Thompson heaved another heavy sigh, eyes heavy with weariness. Fine. I'm old. I won't meddle anymore. Let them do their thing. As for the divorce, you'll have to deal with Chloe yourself." I nodded, bowed respectfully, and walked toward the gate. Back at the house, I pulled a divorce agreement from the drawer. In the signature line, Chloe's name glided in elegant script. For a second, I pictured her signing it all those years ago. She had looked at me, totally cold, saying, "Ethan, I know you're crazy in love with me, but my heart's with someone else. I only married you cause of family pressure. If you ever want out, just sign this. You're free." Now, I picked up the pen and without hesitation, signed my name on the husband line. The moment I finished, the door swung open. Chloe stood there, holding our son Leo's hand. Tall and small, they shared the same poised air, like twins in spirit. Leo's face was pure impatience. "Why'd you call so many times? Where's my soup?" I said calmly, "Not ready yet." "All you do is stay home and do chores, and you can't even get that right," he grumbled. I didn't argue, just said, "The soup's in the kitchen." He didn't waste a second, dropped Chloe's hand, and bolted. Chloe stepped forward, cool as ever. "Leo's still young. I'll talk to him about his attitude." I paid her no mind. I'd raised Leo since he was a baby. He'd always been distant, sure, but at least he called me dad. Ever since Julian returned, I didn't know what he'd told Leo. Now, our son was sure I was the villain keeping him and his mom apart. His attitude had hit rock bottom, wouldn't even look me in the eye. I shook my head. "Won't be necessary." Then I looked at her calmly. "Chloe, I've signed the divorce papers. Don't want custody, don't want money. I'm gone after the 1-month waiting period." Before I could finish, Leo came jogging back, clutching a thermos. "Mom, let's hurry to see Uncle Julian. He must be scared alone in the hospital." Chloe finally noticed me. "What did you just say?" "Didn't catch that." She said it like it didn't even matter. Her mind was elsewhere, still on Julian. I didn't bother repeating myself. Just shook my head. "Nothing," I muttered. Didn't matter if she knew I was leaving or not. I watched them disappear through the doorway. Their trip would last a few days. Perfect. I used that time to submit an application to the National Research Institute. I'd earned my doctorate at 22. If I hadn't married into the Thompson family to repay a debt, I'd have been one of the brightest minds in the country. Several peers had since snagged Nobel Prizes. Now, debt paid, no family to tie me down, I wanted my shot. A few days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. Voice full of excitement. An old colleague. "Ethan, you're really coming back? News is all over. You were always the gifted one," then vanished. "Professor Albright said it was such a loss. We're thrilled you're back. The academic world's about to get shaken up." I caught the teasing tone and smiled. Genuine, something I hadn't felt in years. "Don't worry. From now on, it's all research. Done with everything else." Before I could finish, the door burst open. Chloe and Leo's voices rang out. "Done with what?" Heart in my throat. Hung up, turned, feigning calm. "Nothing, just cleaning up, tossing old stuff." Chloe still suspicious, eyes drilling me. I stayed cool. She relaxed eventually, deciding she was overthinking. I subtly changed the subject. "What brings you two back?" Leo didn't hold back. "Hated the food, the hotel. Now, you gonna make dinner or not?" "I want barbecue ribs." I frowned at Chloe. She stayed silent, clearly agreeing. I pressed my lips together, turned to the kitchen, felt a wave of self-pity. Years of being husband and housekeeper, scared to displease them, ended up nothing more than a live-in help. No respect, no thanks. After long hours alone, I brought the meal to the table. They sat together. I sat opposite. Suggested, we should bring the old staff back. When we moved in, house was fully staffed, but cooking never suited her. Care never matched mine. Chloe didn't like strangers, sent them back. Chloe frowned, puzzled. Leaving? Yeah, I said. I'll be gone soon. You need to get used to it. Leo's fork down, flicker of contempt. Are you mad we've been busy with Uncle Julian? Where would you even go? Chloe's gaze sharp, thinking I had no job, no experience, no credentials. Without her, without the Thompson family, where could I go? Certain I'd never leave. I sighed quietly. Meal ended, topic dead. Late night, Chloe and I in the same bed, awake. Used to sharing a bed, living different worlds. Mattress dipped, warmth pressed against me. She wrapped her arm around me, breath hot on my neck. Whispered, Julian. Every time, it was always him. Flashed through my mind. Revulsion hit. Shoved her away. Reality snapped. Confusion in her eyes. No idea what was wrong. She'd told me from the start. She loved someone else. I got out of bed, grabbed a comforter. Sleeping in the guest room. No look back. Chloe couldn't ask me to stay. Just watch my retreat. Emotion flickered across her stoic face. Days passed. Neither of us moved first. Cold, distant. Leo's birthday came. Massive party. Julian there. Watched wife and son hover around him. Attentive, affectionate. Looked more like a family than us. Guests came with champagne, chatting. Ms. Thompson. Mr. Thompson. Young Mr. Thompson. Chloe froze, glanced at me, saw me lower my head. Soft pang. She corrected, Julian isn't my husband. He's my brother. Guests got it, apologized, whispered. I saw her hovering over Julian, assumed he was husband. I stayed quiet, calm. Time for presents. Handed Leo a key. Locked your gift in the safe. Open it to see what it is. Inside, birthday gifts for decades. Once divorced, wouldn't see him again. Leo didn't even look. Knocked it from my hand. Don't have time for that. Chloe frowned. Don't talk to your father that way. Just a kid, she said calmly. I forced a bitter smile. Just a kid, but no excuse for contempt. Leo ran back to Julian, shining eyes. Uncle Julian, what did you get me? Julian smiled, produced a paperback storybook. Not wrapped, last minute. Leo ecstatic, grinning so wide eyes nearly vanished. Thanks, uncle. Love it. Treasure it forever. Cake time. Leo stood, eyes closed, hands clasped. A second later, spoke, childish voice carrying across the room. I wish Uncle Julian could be my daddy, so he and mommy could be together forever. A stunned silence hit the party, followed by murmurs of shock. Chloe was frozen, but Leo? Totally unfazed. He just blinked, pouting like a little rebel. Don't you want to be with Uncle Julian, mommy? I saw you in your study. Your drawers packed with love letters you wrote him, and you kept all his pics. Even in your books on the shelf, you wrote his name on every single page. Ethan's just a housekeeper. Why can't you and Uncle Julian just be together? Julian whipped his head toward Chloe, eyes instantly filling with tears, rims red. So all these years, Chloe, you never forgot me? Chloe looked away, flustered, silent. But Julian pressed her. I just need an answer, Chloe. As he said the last word, a tear slipped down his cheek, landing like a ton of bricks on her heart, breaking down her defenses. The love she'd been bottling up spilled out. Yes, she admitted, the words she'd hidden forever finally free. I never forgot you for a single moment. Silence swallowed the room. Then bang. A loud crash echoed. Head snapped. Someone had knocked over the champagne tower. Julian was right in its path. Killin'. Chloe and Leo screamed in unison. I froze, watching as they panicked toward him. I got in the way, an obstacle in their path. They shoved me aside hard. I stumbled. Seconds later, the champagne and glass rained down on me, my head spinning. Through dazed eyes, I saw Chloe and Leo hovering over Julian, worried. Uncle, your hand's bleeding. Julian, I'm taking you to the hospital. Chloe helped him up without a second thought. Leo ran after them, struggling on his short legs, but not whining. Julian's arm was around Chloe's shoulders. It was just a tiny cut, but to them, it was catastrophic. They passed me, and Chloe's eyes flicked at me for a split second. Seeing my bruises, she remembered she shoved someone. She paused, looked at me, and said without an ounce of apology, I gotta get Julian to the hospital. You should probably grab a cab and get checked. I tried to speak, but they were gone, just left me in the wreckage. I dialed 911. Ambulance arrived fast. I was on a gurney heading into the ER when Chloe and Leo came rushing back, frantic. Julian's got a clotting disorder. The bleeding won't stop, he's passed out, and the hospital's low on his blood type. You're a match. You have to donate now. Chloe reached to pull me off the gurney. A doctor intervened, frowning. Miss Thompson, Mr. Miller's injuries are severe. He's too weak to donate. But Chloe didn't care. Leo, pouting like it was no big deal, added, "It's just a little blood. What's the big deal? How can he even compare to Uncle Julian?" A chill ran down me. I looked at them, trembling. They met my gaze with zero shame. 6 years I devoted myself to them, but their love? Only for Julian. Cruel, right? They dragged me to the donation room. Needle in, sting minor compared to my heartache. Dizziness hit. I tried to get up. Shadow fell on me. Chloe and Leo holding me down. "Just a little more to be safe for Julian," Chloe said. "Yeah, take more. Take as much as you need. Just make sure Uncle Julian's okay," Leo added. They didn't care about me, just Julian. I passed out. When I woke, Chloe and Leo were by my side. Chloe's eyes flickered with something complex. "I didn't know you were anemic. Why didn't you say anything?" I laughed bitterly. "You dragged me here to donate. When was I supposed to explain? Even if I had, would it have stopped you?" Silence. They didn't need to answer. Truth was obvious. They'd still force me. Chloe's voice softened, tinged with guilt. "I was wrong this time. Sorry. Ask for anything. I'll give it to you." I closed my eyes. What I want most, I already have. Chloe cleared her throat, awkward now. She thought I meant her, but nah, I meant my freedom. A nurse interrupted. "Ms. Thompson, Mr. Clark is awake." Leo jumped up. "Mom, let's go. He's fine now. Why are we still here? Uncle Julian lost so much blood. He needs us." Chloe sighed, paused at the doorway, looked at me. "I'll check on you later." Then she left. Didn't look back. Phone buzzed. Julian. Pics of Chloe feeding him soup, Leo massaging his legs. Messages. "You saw the party. Chloe's heart's still mine. Your son adores me. You're just a housekeeper. Step aside." I typed back calmly. "Don't worry. Soon, very soon, they'll both be yours." He replied immediately. "What's that supposed to mean?" Ignored him. Days later, I'd recovered. Chloe picked me up on discharge day. Julian discharged too. At the car, Chloe hesitated. Julian grinned, took her hand, gesturing to the open door. "Chloe, you opened that for me?" She nodded, but eyes flicked to me. I calmly opened the back door. No drama. Julian, annoyed. "Chloe, damn it, I left my locket. The one from my 18th birthday." Chloe and Leo dashed off to get it. I stayed. Julian sneered. "You've got some nerve sticking around. Ethan, if I were you, I'd vanish by now." Ignored him. Didn't even glance. He got pissed, spat insults. Then crack. A red handprint bloomed on his cheek. Tears in his eyes. "Ethan, whatever's between me and Chloe is past. If you don't like me, I'll stay away. Why'd you hit me?" Next thing, Chloe and Leo shoved me back. Leo hit me with tiny fists, enraged. "Just 'cause you gave blood, you're gonna hurt Uncle Julian? You're evil." I didn't expect Leo's rage. Stung bad. Chloe stopped him, cold as ice. No emotion. "Chloe, Leo, I didn't hit him. Cameras everywhere. Check footage." They didn't listen. Helped Julian into the car, drove off. Left me in dust. I laughed bitterly. Foolish to try explaining when Julian's involved. Home empty. Divorce period over in 3 days. Freedom. My life, finally mine. 3 days till my exit. Chloe and Leo still gone. Video. Chloe cooking, Leo feeding Julian fruit. My 6 years of marriage, all for nothing. 2 days left. Video. Lavender field. Gifts. Adoration for Julian. I burned every gift I gave them, every trace. 1 day left. Video. Auction spree for Julian. Chloe and Leo obsessed with him. I switched off the video, my face stone cold, and headed out to file the final divorce papers. When I got back, I started wiping every trace of myself from that house. On the day I was leaving, all my bags were packed. Just as I was about to step out the door, Chloe and Leo barged in. The first words out of her mouth? A demand. "Today's Julian's birthday. Go apologize for hitting him the other day." I froze, expression calm, just stared at them. Weirdly, both Chloe and Leo felt their hearts start racing, panic creeping in. "You were the one in the wrong. Don't you think you should apologize?" Chloe snapped. As soon as she spoke, Leo seemed to find his balls, grabbed her hand, and jumped in. Yeah, you hit Uncle Julian, so you gotta say sorry. I kept staring, saying zip. Just when they figured I'd be stubborn, I finally spoke. I get it. You two go ahead. Chloe blinked at me, her brow furrowed. You're not coming with us? I shrugged. It's a party. I should change into a suit, clean up a bit. You hate waiting, remember? Besides, it's Julian's birthday. I'm sure he wants you there from the jump. My calm, logical explanation shut her up. Leo shot me a few pissed-off looks. You just cook all day? Why you dressing up? I stopped, gaze darkening. A flicker of fear crossed Leo's eyes, and he shut up. Annoyed, he grabbed Chloe's hand to leave. But I called out. They turned to see me coming out of the bedroom with a gift box. This is for Julian, I said, holding it out. Give it to him when it's time. And play it for everyone, right then and there. Inside was hospital security footage. Since they wouldn't see the truth, I'd make sure everyone else did. I stressed the right then and there. Chloe looked confused but nodded. She grabbed the gift, and the two of them headed out. Suddenly, I called Leo's name. He turned back, face impatient. I said softly, goodbye. Then I looked at the elegant woman beside him and said my final goodbye. Goodbye, Chloe. She looked at me. I stood under a lamp, backlit, expression hidden, only a faint smile visible. She seemed shocked at how thin I'd become, like a gust of wind could blow me right out of the Thompson house, right out of her life. But she shook it off. I loved her too damn much. I hadn't left in 6 years. Anyone else might bail, not me. She forced down the panic rising in her chest, nodded, holding the gift box in one hand and Leo's in the other, and walked out. Only after watching them leave did I look away and head back inside, grabbed my suitcase, stepped out of the mansion. At the curb, hailed a cab, gave the driver my destination. The car pulled off, heading away from Julian's party. Goodbye, Chloe. Goodbye, Leo. Meanwhile, speeding across town in her own car, Chloe felt uneasy. Kept glancing back, worried I was following. Her eyes landed on the gift box. Frowned. Had to deliver it. Just how late was I planning to be? How long could it take to change and clean up? She thought about how long I usually took. 6 years of marriage told her the truth. I barely dressed up. Maybe Leo was right. Maybe my life was just cooking and cleaning. Or maybe I just didn't give a damn about appearances. She couldn't remember. When the car stopped, Leo waited. Chloe didn't move, so he opened the door himself. Still, she froze. He poked his head in, tugged her sleeve. Mom, we're here. Gotta find Uncle Julian. A few more calls didn't work, so he shrieked until she snapped out of it. She saw the gates, realized they'd arrived at Julian's mansion. Stepped out, clutching the gift, a strange sadness settling over her. Leo sniffled, holding her hand. Mommy, what were you thinking about so hard? Her thoughts snapped back. Me. All along, it was me making her distracted. Weird, prickly feeling in her chest. Leo tugged again. She shook her head. It's nothing. Dismissive, but Leo was too hyped to see his uncle to care. Still, her heart raced. A gut feeling like something vital was being ripped from her, something she couldn't name. It didn't fade, even when she saw Julian in the grand ballroom. She kept looking toward the entrance, growing more anxious. Julian noticed, but couldn't figure it out. Then, a vicious glint in his eye. If I was going to be stubborn, ignoring his hints and pulling stunts to get Chloe's attention, he'd just give me a special gift too. Julian smiled, bright and charming, and walked over. Chloe, you seem distracted. Ethan's not here yet. Everything okay? If you're worried, go find him. It's fine if you're not here for my party. Consider it, but the hurt under his words was clear. Chloe's heart softened. What was he doing? It's his birthday. Of course, she's staying. Leo grinned. Yeah, Uncle Julian. Nothing's more important than your birthday. Don't worry. And when he shows up, he'll apologize to you in front of everyone. Not the first time Leo refused to call me Dad. Chloe encouraged it, but hearing it now stung her. She opened her mouth to scold him, but seeing Julian and Leo get along killed the words. Sighed, letting it go. Let's head into the party. Time for presents. A parade of crazy gifts for Julian, feeding his ego. Chloe's turn. She paused, then pulled out the box I'd given her. This is from Ethan, she said. He said play it for everyone right now. She opened it. A tiny USB drive. Staff set it up. Julian didn't object. Curious. Held his head high, contempt clear. The big screen flickered on. Everyone stared. Everyone wondered what I, The guy who'd clung to Chloe for 6 years had to show at her true love's birthday party. A montage of our so-called happy moments. But what happy moments? Everyone knew the CEO of Thompson Corp was in love with her adoptive brother. Her husband? Just a business arrangement. Maybe it's a cheesy video of well wishes. Everyone would laugh at my pathetic attempt to look magnanimous. The loading bar hit 100%. An image popped up. Security footage. A confused murmur ran through the crowd. What is this? Looks like a security cam. What the hell is he doing, showing security footage? The guests were whispering, confused, while Julian, standing on the tiny stage, froze. His face went pale. It was footage from the hospital parking garage, the day he had framed me. Chloe didn't recognize it at first, but then she saw us, herself, Julian, Leo, and me, on screen. It wasn't that long ago. She and Leo had just demanded. I apologized for that very day. The memory hit them like a truck. Julian screamed, "Turn it off. Turn it off now." He grabbed the nearest glass and chucked it at the screen. Staff jumped, trying to shut it down, but Chloe stopped them. Leo stared at Julian, totally confused by the over-the-top reaction. Neither he nor Chloe had ever doubted Julian before. To them, he was Mr. Gentle, Mr. Kind. No way would he frame someone. So when the video played, their first reaction was anger at me. All they wanted was a simple apology. And here I was, making a full-on public spectacle. But what could I even gain from that? Leo didn't think it through. Still a little confused, he tried to calm Julian. "Don't worry, Uncle Julian. If he wants to make a scene, let him. Does he really think this is going to ruin your birthday? Pathetic. Let him do his thing. Everyone will see what a total jerk he really is." He said it all indignantly, completely missing the weird looks from Chloe and the other guests. Who in their right mind would ruin their own rep just to wreck a birthday party? As expected, the video kept going, showing the part after Chloe and Leo left. The camera still locked on Julian and me. Audio was a bit fuzzy, but Julian's grating voice came through loud and clear. "You've got some nerve sticking around after all this. Ethan, if I were you, I'd have tucked my tail and vanished long ago, if I hadn't been sent abroad for a few years. Do you really think you'd ever be Mr. Thompson? Look at yourself. Look at your clothes. Pathetic house husband. What makes you think you can compete with me?" The taunts just kept coming. You couldn't see my face well in the video, but Julian's twisted, sneering expression was crystal clear. On screen, I stayed calm. But in the ballroom, people were whispering like crazy. Who'd have thought Julian, always Mr. Charming rich heir, was secretly acting like a total douche, taunting a husband to his face. And then, the kicker. Julian suddenly slapped himself hard across the face. A red mark popped up, tears filling his eyes. He looked utterly pathetic. Then, like the biggest brat, he cried out, accusing me of hitting him. A moment later, Chloe and Leo came back. They heard him, saw the red mark, and completely lost it. Leo started punching his own father. I tried explaining I hadn't touched him and that the security footage proved it, but all three of them ignored me and walked off. The murmuring in the room died down. All eyes were on the Thompson trio at the center. The Thompson Corporation was huge in New York. Most people there depended on the family's favor. They could whisper about an adopted son, sure, but no one would dare openly judge the CEO and her heir. Still, you could see the flicker of contempt. They looked down on Julian for being manipulative, at Chloe for trusting him too easily, and Leo for hitting his own father over a lie. The three Thompsons were red as tomatoes from humiliation. Chloe looked mortified. She opened her mouth, scanning the room for me. Then she remembered. I hadn't shown up. I'd had her deliver the gift for me. Guilt hit her like a ton of bricks. Beside her, Leo was stunned. Leo had always hated me, his biological father. Chloe had told him his grandfather sent her true love away and forced her to marry me instead. She claimed she'd been trapped, that her true love was her innocent adoptive brother. Their love was forbidden, and she had no choice. So in Leo's eyes, I was the thief, the villain, stealing his mom away from the man she was meant to be with. Without me, his father would have been the kind, gentle Julian. But now this video, it was shattering his whole idea of right and wrong. He looked at his mom, lost. So he hadn't hit his uncle. He saw the same dawning confusion mirrored in her eyes. Chloe snapped her head up, locking eyes on Julian, who tried sneaking off the stage. And boom, she unloaded all her fury on him. "Why did you lie? I trusted you, Julian. How could you become this kind of person? Her face was pure anguish. Leo immediately jumped in. Yeah, Uncle Julian, why lie to us? Weren't we good to you? Seeing them both turn on him, Julian stared, shocked, but with all the guests watching, he swallowed his anger. No, it's not like that. Let me explain. Suddenly, someone in the audience clapped. The noise startled everyone. Heads whipped around, trying to see the gutsy person. Chloe and Leo were stunned too. A woman stood, a mocking smile playing on her lips. Well, we should all thank Mr. Clark for this awesome entertainment. Recognizing her, Chloe's face hardened. Her anger at Julian intensified, but now she was furious at me too. Why'd I have to humiliate them like this? Couldn't it have been private? The other guests got it immediately. The Thompsons had rivals, and Isabella Bell was one of them. Chloe's childhood friend loved seeing her fail. Under these circumstances, she was the only one daring enough. Having enjoyed the show, Isabella strolled out casually, not giving Chloe a chance to retaliate. With her leading, the rest of the guests quickly made excuses and left. In no time, the ballroom was empty, except for Chloe, Leo, and Julian. Party over. And I still hadn't shown. The realization hit Chloe. I'd played them all, and now they were alone. Chloe's anguish vanished, replaced by cold fury. She raised her hand. Crack. The slap echoed through the empty room. Julian's head snapped to the side. He sat there stunned, face twisted in disbelief. You hit me, Chloe. You actually hit me? Real tears of shock this time, not the crocodile ones. Chloe met his gaze, zero sympathy left. I saw you slap yourself earlier. Figured you enjoyed it. She smiled coldly, eyes empty. Leo, tears in his eyes, went full beast mode, lunging at Julian and pounding him. Julian cried out. But Leo didn't stop. You liar. You lie to us. You're a bad guy. A little while ago, he had wished this man were his dad. Now, nothing but pure hatred. Julian, the heir, used to be flattered wherever he went, but now, disdain everywhere he looked. Finally, Julian shoved Leo with all his strength. A 5-year-old kid didn't stand a chance against an adult's desperate shove. He went flying. Julian, breathing hard, grabbed a table to pull himself up. He glanced at Chloe and Leo, and a weird, broken laugh slipped out. Chloe frowned. What's so funny? Her voice dripped with disgust and a little panic. Lately, my behavior had been totally out of character. The old me never would have made such a public scene, no matter how pissed off I was. Then again, the old me was never angry at all. Like at the party, when she'd confessed her love for Julian in front of everyone. I just stood there, silent. A man who loved her that much would never humiliate himself publicly, right? Seeing her frown, Julian laughed even harder. What am I laughing at? Your hypocrisy. You and your son? Pathetic. He spat the words out, then let out a self-mocking chuckle. And me? I'm laughing at myself for ever thinking people like you could feel anything real. Did I force you to believe me without question? Chloe, look at me. We loved each other. So what if I framed him? He's just some dude you married for convenience. A glorified housekeeper. Seriously, you gonna act like this over him? Leo wanted to fire back, but he had no clue what to say. He looked at his mom, desperate for a cue. Chloe shot back without thinking. He's not just some guy we married. And he is not a housekeeper. Leo jumped in, voice burning with righteous anger. Don't you dare talk about my dad like that. Julian's face, a mix of surprise and mockery, made them both freeze. They realized they'd just defended me using the same words they'd thrown as insults. Julian scoffed. Chloe, don't tell me you actually fell for Ethan. And you, he said, turning to Leo, stop pretending you're the perfect son. Think everyone's forgotten that on your birthday you called him a housekeeper and said, your mom and I were the perfect match. Confusion flickered in Chloe's eyes. Was she in love with me? She glanced at Leo, equally lost. She tried to speak, but no words came. Leo's voice cracked. No, it's not like that. You tricked me. You lied, made us think Dad was hurting you. That's why I hated him. Tears streamed down his cheeks as he looked at his mom, begging for her to agree. His stutter grew into a roar, anger flaring. He grabbed a nearby vase and hurled it at Julian. Julian flinched, shutting his eyes just as sharp pain exploded near his temple. He reached up. His hand came away wet and warm. Julian got rushed to the hospital. Chloe and Leo didn't spare him a second glance. They bolted home, minds buzzing with questions for me. But when they threw open the mansion doors, empty. I was gone. They tore through every room, bedroom, kitchen, bathrooms, backyard, only to realize it wasn't just me who vanished. Everything that belonged to me had disappeared. After a long, fruitless search, Leo tugged at Chloe's sleeve, face crumpled, tears ready to fall. "Mommy, did Daddy leave me?" Chloe had no time for comfort. Her mind was a chaotic mess. She kept dialing the same number, over and over, a number she never even bothered to save. After so many calls, she'd memorized it. Each time, an automated message popped up, then the call dropped. I'd blocked her. Chloe stared at the number. Then her phone rang. Hope flared, but fell fast when she saw the caller ID, her grandfather. Mr. Thompson's voice was grave. "Is Ethan gone?" She stayed silent. But he already knew. A month had passed since our contract ended, and news of Julian's birthday fiasco had reached him. My leaving? Exactly what he expected. He sighed, disappointment dripping from his words. "I told you from the start. You and Julian were impossible. Never right for each other. When you agreed to marry Ethan and have his kid, I thought you'd finally moved on. But in the end, Chloe, you've disappointed me more than I can say." Chloe's brow tightened. His lecture pushed her frustration to the edge. She opened her mouth to hang up, but then something in his words stopped her. Her eyes narrowed, voice icy. "You knew Ethan was leaving, didn't you? Did you send him away? Where is he?" Questions tumbled out, hysteria rising. Pain from being ripped away from her love 6 years ago flooded back, and she unleashed it on her grandfather. She didn't notice Leo letting go of her hand. He backed away, fear in his eyes. He'd never seen his mom like this. The calm, composed CEO, impeccably dressed, decisive mother. Not the screaming, red-eyed stranger before him. He quietly slipped out, determined to find his dad. He didn't want this mother anymore. Chloe, lost in her emotional storm, didn't even notice. Mr. Thompson had once felt a twinge of guilt for sending her true love away. But now, she'd driven away the man who loved her, all on her own, and he had no way to step in. This time, no protection. His voice turned cold. This time, he left of his own accord. Or maybe, "Chloe, you drove him away because you don't know how to love or respect anyone." He snorted. "You didn't think Ethan stayed all these years cause he loved you, did you?" Chloe froze. "What are you talking about?" A part of her screamed, "Don't listen." Her thumb hovered over the end call button. But her grandfather laid it all bare before she could hang up. Ethan never loved her. He was repaying a debt to him, sent to her. A tool to pretend, give her a child, make her forget Julian. He chuckled, not waiting for a reply. Looks like the boy's mission succeeded. Before he left, he'd asked me to give Chloe his blessing to be with Julian. He agreed. So from now on, I won't interfere. Though, looks like you don't need my help ruining your own life. Gloating clear in his voice. Chloe's face twisted in pain, but she refused to back down. "I don't believe you," she hissed through clenched teeth. "You're lying." His reply was casual, almost bored. "Believe what you want." But his casual dismissal hit harder than any argument. Her denial crumbled into bottomless panic. He'd never loved her. The truth hit like a punch, draining her strength. "Are you satisfied with the truth now?" her grandfather asked. Chloe sat motionless, like a statue, still his granddaughter of hope, but he'd only told her the truth to snap her out of stubbornness in matters of the heart. His tone softened slightly, tinged with deep disappointment. "Chloe, I'm not trying to hurt you, but you've always been too impulsive, too extreme. You gotta learn to cherish what's right in front of you. Nothing and no one's gonna wait around for you forever. I kept this from you because I was scared you couldn't handle it. But the truth is, if Julian had been stronger back then, if he hadn't freaked out and ran off with the cash when I told him he'd have to give up the Thompson lifestyle to be with you, I would have given in. I would have made it work. But you? You were a terrible judge of character, ready to toss the whole company for a guy like that. And Ethan, if you'd shown him even a shred of real affection over these past 6 years, I don't buy that he could have been that cold. I don't buy that he'd just walk away from his own kid. Bottom line, you failed him. If I were you, I wouldn't be sitting here drowning in self-pity. I'd be out there finding him, explaining, trying to win him back." Hiding by the doorway, Leo heard it all. The whole long talk was tough for him to wrap his head around, but one line stuck. "In the end, you failed him, and that's why he left his own child. So it was his mom's fault." Not like she'd always said his dad was the only thing keeping her from Julian. All this time, he'd been wrong about his dad. He'd hurt the one person who should have loved him most, all for someone else. Tears welled up in his eyes, and he bolted. 5 years later, Boston Logan International Airport. I was moving fast, my mood giving me away. Behind me, Isabella struggled to keep up, lugging a massive suitcase. "Hey, Ethan, wait up," she called. Loud enough for anyone to hear. Didn't slow me down, but it did stop a woman passing by dead in her tracks. She whipped her head around, eyes wide, not daring to believe it. Was it someone with the same name, or really him? 1,000 thoughts ran through her mind as she watched me disappear ahead. In 6 years of marriage, we never snapped a single photo together. Every gift I'd given her and Leo, gone. She'd combed that huge mansion countless times, only to finally accept that I'd erased every trace of myself from her life. Nothing left behind. 5 years later, she'd almost forgotten what I looked like. That's why she didn't recognize me when we passed. But Isabella calling my name jogged her memory. The more she stared, the more certain she became. Shock hit her like a punch. When she finally whispered my name, it was barely audible. Ethan. Even after 5 years, I knew that voice instantly. Chloe. My ex-wife of 6 years, the woman who'd been the source of my 6-year nightmare. I slowed a fraction, and Isabella caught up. She glanced at Chloe, rolled her eyes, and before Chloe could react, Isabella grabbed my hand and started leading me toward the exit. "Don't be mad anymore," she said, bright as ever. "I got us a reservation at the Union Oyster House. Let's grab dinner." Hearing my favorite spot, my irritation melted. I stayed quiet, my silent okay. We both pretended not to see Chloe and kept moving. She hurried after us, but seeing Isabella hold my hand made her stop short. Reality hit. This wasn't casual. "Ethan, wait," she shouted, meant to stop me. But it only made us move faster. We got into the waiting car without a beat. Door slammed. Car sped off, leaving her choking on exhaust. She dropped her arm, defeated, just as her phone buzzed. Miss Thompson, are you there?" By the time Chloe snapped back, the line was dead. Fingers flying, she dialed another number. "I want a full report on Isabella Bell, where she's been the last 5 years, what she's done," when she contacted Ethan. Her assistant blinked at the sudden interest, until the last part made her heart skip. 3 hours later, after 5 years of searching, Chloe had a full dossier. I met Isabella 2 years ago. Like the other scientists at the Institute, I buried myself in work. The only time we left was when our prof worried we'd go stir crazy and literally locked us out of the lab, forcing a vacation. Otherwise, it was awards trips only. 2 years ago, on an overseas trip with senior colleagues, I got separated. Waiting around, I ran into Isabella. She walked up with casual swagger, then froze when she saw me. That stare made me back up cautiously. When my colleagues found me, I warned them. They questioned her. She vaguely claimed to know me. I swore I'd never seen her. They thought she was some con artist and had her taken to the local cops. Pretty wild way to meet someone. Once cleared, we saw more of each other. She was clearly into me from the start. Our professor loved it. He often complained my colleagues weren't as forward. Isabella played it perfectly. Enough space to never feel smothered, but enough presence that I'd never forget her. Felt natural. She chose the first snowfall night to confess. Fireworks lit up the fresh snow. No one else around. Felt like the world had shrunk to just us. "Ethan," she said, "I'm falling for you. Let's be together. Special, no pressure." I hesitated. I've been married. Got a kid. Why would you want someone like me? Unlike Chloe, Isabella knew the truth from day one. I wasn't some lovesick admirer or family pawn. I'd signed a 6-year contract to repay a debt. She'd watched me care for Chloe, raise Leo, get frame time and again. And I stayed. Back then, she thought I'd loved Chloe. Mixed pity and envy. Envy that Chloe had a grandfather who cared, a husband who loved her. But after Julian's birthday disaster, she saw the truth. The quiet, submissive man she'd known, gone. Standing in a room, I commanded attention. She was drawn in. Her interest grew into something real. Now she was sure. "Ethan, I know all of it," she said. "And because I know, I also know I'm falling for you, and none of that changes. I like you. For me. That's it." The sincerity in her eyes. I couldn't turn her away. Not because of the contract, not because of Chloe, not because of Leo. I'd started to think I wasn't cut out for family life. But looking at her, There was hope. Maybe I could try again. Worst case, repeat of the past. So, I took her hand. A real smile spread across my face. A smile that seemed to catch her off guard. Everything just felt right. I said yes, and we became a couple. After that, she was always by my side. And today? Our 1-year anniversary. The reason I'd been on edge earlier? I just found out Isabella had pulled like a million all-nighters just to clear her schedule, fly to Boston, and celebrate with me. I was just worried about her. Meanwhile, Chloe stared at the files and photos from her assistant, seeing a version of me she'd never even known. Vibrant, happy, alive. A sour, messy feeling, like a vat of vinegar tipping over, churned in her stomach. And the kicker? Isabella was now my girlfriend, and Chloe was nothing. She looked at our divorce certificate, hit with a regret deeper than anything she'd ever felt. Why had she handed me that signed agreement on our wedding day? Why, in all 6 years, had she never tried to actually build a life with me? And why, when Julian returned, did she and Leo shove me away? If she hadn't, she wouldn't be in this position, seeing me again but with zero right to even talk to me. I'd long moved on, started a new life. Of course, I had zero clue about Chloe's inner meltdown. At that moment, I was chilling in a private booth at Union Oyster House, being personally waited on by the CEO of Bell Industries. She served me a perfectly cooked lobster, still steaming, which I dunked in a sauce she'd whipped up herself. The warmth spread through me, killing the Boston chill, but her eyes never left my face. Her constant staring made me self-conscious, so I playfully tapped her hand. "Eat your food. Why are you staring at me?" Even then, she didn't look away. She just smiled, radiant. "'Cause you're handsome," she said. We ate, joked, and before we knew it, an hour had flown by. Just as we were about to bounce, the door to our booth got thrown open. I frowned, annoyed, thinking it was a waiter. I was about to ask why they hadn't knocked when I looked up and saw Chloe standing there. Beside her was Leo, now tall enough to reach her waist. In the 5 years since I last saw him, he'd grown from a little kid into a young boy. His features had changed, and he carried a more reserved vibe. Not the loud, impulsive kid I remembered. He looked like a little man. Even though I didn't ask for it, news about them always found its way to me. Business journals gossiped about Chloe's devotion to her late husband and how Leo was already showing signs of his mother's sharp mind. I never commented, but someone would always remind me how they once condemned me based on a lie. Now, seeing them in person, the time hit me hard. Leo had grown up. Isabella noticed me zoning out. She squeezed my hand, then slid across the table to sit next to me, a clear move of claiming me. When she looked at Chloe, her eyes were challenging. I didn't stop her. I just leaned closer. That was all it took. Leo's eyes instantly welled up. He pouted, his voice thick with hurt. "Daddy, I missed you so much. Why did you never come look for me?" He looked like a lost, abandoned kid, sobbing helplessly. Other diners started staring. Chloe, feeling the attention, hustled Leo into our booth and shut the door. As soon as they were inside, Leo tried to rush at me, but Isabella blocked him. "Hey, what are you doing? We can talk, but hands to yourself." Leo glared, face red with anger. "He's my dad. Who are you to stop me?" He had learned fast in 5 years with his great-grandfather. How to hide his real intentions, how to trick Mr. Thompson into letting him take a private jet to Boston. On the way, he imagined this reunion 1,000 times, me filled with regret, maybe still mad, but if he apologized just right, I'd forgive him. But he was dead wrong. I stayed put, subtly stepping away. "I'm not your father, Leo. Did you forget who you chose to be your dad?" The color drained from his face. Chloe quickly stepped forward, holding his hand, her voice laced with disapproval. "Ethan, I know you're still mad at us, but he's just a kid. He didn't know better back then. He messed up, but hasn't he learned from it? Why hurt him like this?" I finally looked at her. "Miss Thompson, we're divorced. Call me Mr. Miller. Otherwise, my girlfriend might get jealous." My tone was cold, formal. The casual mention of my girlfriend hit her like a punch. She had seen the report, but hearing it from me? Different kind of pain. She seemed lost in memory, like watching our past, but roles flipped. Back then, she had all the power. She kept me at arm's length. I asked for nothing. No wedding, no honeymoon, just a ring and marriage certificate. She handed me the divorce papers like a boss, saying, "I know you love me, but my heart's elsewhere. I only married because of family. Sign this. If you want out, sign too, you're free." She was so damn confident then. Never imagined one day she'd be the one begging for a second chance. Now, she was finally tasting what I felt back then, a bitter, self-mocking smile on her lips. But nah, that's not right. I shouldn't have felt hurt. She handed me an easy out. I should have been happy. Chloe tried to speak, but her throat went dry. She and Leo had never been truly part of my world. But Leo wouldn't quit. Daddy, you really don't want me anymore? I was done with this. Took Isabella's hand and stood up. As we moved, Leo grabbed my arm, bursting into tears. Daddy, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Please, just one more chance. I'll be good. I'll listen. Please don't leave me. Chloe stepped in, eyes red-rimmed. Ethan, it's my fault. I didn't know my heart. I used your love to hurt you. No, not love. Grandfather told me. You were only with me to repay a debt. She fought back tears, eyes painfully red. Ethan, Leo, we know we were wrong. Forgive us? One more chance to start over. You don't have to love us. Just come back. Anything you want. Leo nodded, eager. Daddy, the safe key you gave me? I found it. I looked inside. All the presents for my future birthdays. I've only opened one a year. You didn't want to leave me, right? Please come back. I froze. The safe? Thought I'd gotten rid of it. Then remembered tossing the key. Didn't expect Leo, who threw the key once, to go back for it. While I was deep in my own head, Isabella snapped, her voice dripping with irritation. Am I invisible, or what? You're really trying to steal my boyfriend right in front of me? Chloe, when did I ever act like some weak pushover? Chloe didn't even acknowledge her. She kept staring straight at me, waiting on my answer, her heart racing with a messy mix of hope and fear. As for Isabella, they were already enemies, so what if Isabella hated her a little more? Chloe didn't care. All she wanted now was me. And honestly, Isabella should have known about my history with them before she decided to chase after me. While they went back and forth, I looked down at Leo. He was still gripping my arm, eyes pleading, silently begging me not to leave. 5 years ago, before Julian showed back up, if they'd begged me like this, I probably would have caved. But after everything that went down, they weren't the center of my universe anymore. Family matters, sure, but my own peace matters more. Nobody is required to wait forever while you sort your mess out. Before I became a dad, I was still a person. I carefully loosened Leo's fingers from my arm, shook my head, and spoke to both of them. I'd been lost for a long damn time. Now, I hadn't just found myself again. I found someone who actually fits with me. Why would I throw all that away just because you're sorry now? I walked off with Isabella. When Chloe tried to follow, her phone rang. It was her grandfather. Omnicorp couldn't reach you, so they contacted me. Chloe, who taught you to let your personal drama screw with business? You just blew off a major partner. Only then did it hit Chloe why she was even in Boston. Business. If the Omnicorp deal went through, it would unlock the entire New England market for Thompson Corporation and push the company to a whole new level. And now she was hours late. She just stood there, watching Isabella and me disappear, resentment twisting hard inside her. Leo looked up at her, his eyes asking what she couldn't answer. Why aren't they coming with us? On the call, her grandfather switched topics. Is Leo with you? Yes, she replied, not bothering to lie. Leo had taken her grandfather's private jet to Boston. It wasn't exactly hard to track him. His voice was heavy with disapproval, aimed at her, at Leo, and at me. So you took the boy and saw him. What did he say? What are you planning now? Don't you get it? I sent him to help you move on from Julian, not turn him into your next fixation. The warning was obvious. If Chloe kept letting her personal life mess with the company, he'd step in again. Leo overheard the last part, and, having been raised by the old man, instantly understood what it meant. Don't you dare hurt my daddy, he yelled into the phone. Mr. Thompson's voice hardened. If you care that much about Ethan, then instead of screaming at me, you should be on the next flight home telling that foolish mother of yours to get her priorities straight. Chloe frowned, firing back defiantly. You're the one who told me to find him, to explain, to apologize. How can you now say I've got my priorities wrong? What mattered and what didn't? What could wait and what couldn't? Why did her whole life have to orbit around the company? Why could her grandfather send away the man she loved, force her into a marriage, and now tell her she couldn't even try to win back the man she lost? Just go back to work like nothing happened? Her grandfather was furious. He couldn't believe she was twisting the words he'd said 5 years ago. I said that to pull you out of depression. Chloe, Don't forget who you are. You're the CEO of Thompson Corporation. Everything you do reflects on this company. For the first time, Chloe felt a rock-solid certainty, stronger even than when she'd once been willing to give up everything for Julian. I told you then, and I'll say it again, I don't want this position. Helplessness washed over him. For the first time, Mr. Thompson wondered where he'd gone wrong raising such a stubborn, irrational granddaughter. After a long pause, he laughed. You really think you're irreplaceable? Fine. If you're set on wrecking your life, I won't stop you. But Leo goes on a plane back here today. The threat was obvious, but to Chloe, it felt like relief. She exhaled slowly. I'll send him back right now. The next morning, I woke up and instinctively grabbed my phone to check the time. The second I unlocked it, missed call alerts flooded the screen, so many my phone lagged for a second. My first thought was that something terrible had happened at the institute. I jumped out of bed, rushed through my routine, and was about to bolt. Isabella heard the noise and came out of the kitchen. Seeing how frantic I was, she looked worried. What's wrong? Why are you in such a rush? She handed me a glass of warm milk. Here, drink something first. I took a sip, hair still a disaster, and explained. I just saw a ton of missed calls. I think something's wrong at the lab. I need to check. But as I said it, something felt off. My place was right next to the institute. If there'd been a real emergency, my coworkers wouldn't just call. They'd have been pounding on my door hours ago. They wouldn't just stop. Realizing that calmed me down, and I breathed out slowly. Now calmer, I checked who'd been calling. Isabella, clearly amused by my freakout, sat down and set a plate of eggs in front of me. Well, since it's not the lab, eat while you figure it out. The calls were from multiple numbers, all calling over and over. I couldn't tell if it was a prank or something serious. I opened my iMessages and saw a long stack of unread texts. Every single one said the same thing. Leo is missing. My brain went blank. Missing? What did that even mean? But the texts explained the nonstop calls. They were from Chloe. I scrolled back fast and called the first number. She picked up immediately. What happened? I demanded. Bitterness surged through Chloe, but she didn't stall. Grandfather told me to send Leo back. I put him on the plane, but the housekeeper said he never arrived. The security team I sent showed up and said he was kidnapped. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I failed to protect our son. Her heart was a total storm. Rage that someone dared kidnap her son under her and her grandfather's watch, and heartbreak that it took something this awful for me to call her. I frowned, anxiety twisting tight in my gut. Leo's been kidnapped. Isabella asked, sitting beside me with her own breakfast. She'd overheard Chloe's voice. After a pause, she asked, Is he in New York? Do you need my help? It wasn't that she cared about Thompson family drama. She knew Leo was my son. I might have been hurt by his past, and I wasn't ready to forgive him. But if he was truly in danger, I couldn't just sit back. I wasn't that cold. Thank you, I said. Before Isabella could even start making calls, Chloe got a text from an unknown number. The message was short. I have Leo. If you want him alive, meet me at Eastville Harbor tomorrow at noon. Call the cops and he dies with me. My heart jumped straight into my throat. A kidnapper who didn't want money. What the hell did he want? Isabella and I were on the next flight to New York. The next day, right at noon, we arrived at Eastville Harbor. The water was calm. The big ships were gone, leaving just one small boat tied to the dock, gently rocking. On it stood two figures, one big, one small. The kidnapper and his hostage. We recognized him instantly. Julian. Chloe's face twisted in pure rage. Julian, what the hell do you think you're doing? At her voice, Julian turned. The long, jagged scar near his eye looked brutal under the midday sun. He froze when he saw all three of us. Then a wild, unhinged look flashed across his eyes. Ethan, you came back, too, Julian said, his eyes locking onto me. Both Chloe and Isabella immediately stepped in front of me. Just tell us what you want, Julian, Chloe said. What will it take for you to let Leo go? Seeing me shielded by both women, Julian felt a surge of jealousy that hit him like a punch to the gut. Rage burned in his chest, and the hatred in his eyes was so thick, you could almost touch it. He just didn't get it. They'd both been kicked out by the Thompson family. So why was his life in ruins while mine was still intact? That scar on his face never should have happened, but the Thompsons were ruthless, patched him up just enough to toss him out of the hospital. Assets frozen, beaten down, scarred for life. left to scrounge for scraps in trash cans. Meanwhile, me? I was rocking designer threads, looking better than ever since my Thompson days. And to top it off, both Chloe and Isabella were right there, protecting me. He couldn't freaking stand it. You want to know what I want? Julian said, pressing a knife to Leo's throat. I got 2 conditions. Meet M, and I let the boy go. First, you marry me. Second, you trade Ethan for him. His eyes were deadlocked on Chloe, forcing her to make the choice. The silence was heavy, broken only by the wind whistling past. Handing me over? No chance. Not Chloe, not Isabella. But leaving Leo? Also impossible. After a tense pause, Isabella shook her head. The first one? Maybe we can talk. The second? Hell no. Pick something else. Chloe looked like she was about to blow a fuse, but a shared glance between Isabella and me kept her in check. Julian noticed her hesitation, and his resolve hardened. The standoff dragged on until his eyes suddenly narrowed. You stalling, huh? He snarled. I told you what happens if you call the cops. By the end of his threat, his voice was shaking. Our calmness was getting under his skin. His grip on the knife tightened, and the sudden pain jolted Leo awake from his stupor. He screamed, "Daddy, help me!" His terrified cries ripped through me. My heart was pounding. I just prayed the police snipers had a clean shot. I was not trading my life for his. Julian hadn't expected Leo to wake, and the boy's panicked yelling was grinding on his nerves. Shut up. If you don't shut up, I swear I'll kill you. He glanced at us, checking our reaction. And in that split second, he saw it, the glint of a rifle scope aimed right at him. This guy? Not a hardened criminal. The sight of the gun? Pure terror. His hand shook uncontrollably. He didn't want to die. Panic fogged his brain. He clutched the knife tighter, his only leverage, and tried to shrink into a smaller target. His eyes darted around, then locked onto mine. He saw the worry I was barely hiding. A desperate, insane idea sparked in his mind. If he was going to die today, he was taking everyone down with him. Leo's cries went on, but Julian didn't notice anymore. He looked at us, eerily calm. I know you called the cops, he said. So I've changed my mind. I want all of you on this boat. Once we're somewhere safe, then I'll leave. Decision made. His mind was unervingly clear. After a heartbeat, Chloe was the first to step onto the boat. Isabella and I followed right behind, watching Julian use Leo as a human shield. A terrible premonition hit me. The feeling grew as we got closer. Just as we reached the dock edge, I grabbed Isabella's arm. Something told me he wasn't just planning to run. I whispered the warning, and Chloe stepped onto the boat. A second later, Julian lunged. Sickening sound, knife plunged into Chloe's throat. A gunshot cracked. I whipped my head just in time to hear 3 splashes as bodies hit the water. The crying stopped. Police and rescue divers, who'd been lying in wait, swarmed the scene. More splashes as they dove in. When my head cleared, all I could see was the bloody empty boat and rescue divers tethered to ropes, searching the dark water. I tried to speak. Leo, he. Before I could finish, a crushing weight hit my chest. Vision went black. I collapsed. Last thing I heard, Isabella's fading cry. When I woke, 2 days had passed. The sharp antiseptic smell hit me first. I couldn't even remember the last time I'd been in a hospital. I flexed my fingers, waking Isabella, who'd been asleep in the chair beside me, hand holding mine. The TV scrolled a grim headline. Former Thompson's revenge plot ends in tragedy. CEO and son dead after harbor incident. Her eyes followed mine to the screen. She fumbled for the remote, flipping channels, but every damn station ran the same story. She turned it off with a grimace, annoyed at herself. I shook my head. It's not your fault. Truth? None of this was Isabella's doing. Julian's rage came from Chloe and Leo's own actions. They faced the outcome they created. No one else to blame. After a beat, I whispered, weakly, I want to see them. With death, everything was done. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Whatever debts, whatever feelings gone. I never got to see Chloe and Leo one last time. Mr. Thompson stopped us outside the funeral home. His eyes clouded with grief as he waved us away. Go home, he said, voice raspy. Just go home. An old man forced to bury his own. He didn't know who to blame. The tangled mess of love and hate that caused their deaths, or his own stubbornness that pushed everyone to this tragic end. That night, fireworks lit up the city sky. Music,